For as long as we have cooked food, the fundamental role of a meal hasn't really changed. A meal is sustaining, but it is also an art, artifice, an act of memory, imagination, and emotional experience, woven through the senses. Why can't a meal provide more pleasurable experience beyond simple sustenance, without the negative consequences? Imagine you can eat anything you want without regret. The future is here. Project Nourished, a gastronomical virtual reality experience. The system is comprised of a virtual reality headset for simulating vision, an aromatic diffuser for producing smell, a bone conduction transducer for creating chewing sound and vibration, a gyroscopic utensil for manipulating virtual and physical foods, a 3D printed cube made with algae for adding taste and texture, and a virtual cocktail glass for mimicking intoxication.
My name is Jen, and I'm the founder of Project Nourished. I was really drawn into food and virtual reality because I'm in technology, first of all, but I was really inspired by a lot of my chef friends who run restaurants and provide food for the LA community, and I thought to myself, wow.
So even though I have gluten and soy sensitivity, now I can eat whatever I want without the consequences.
So we're gonna talk a little bit about the installation.
I'm still trying to work in the tree that goes in the left in the background.
The next concept that we're going to be working on, you wanted to do something like cherry pie and Paris.
So you're talking about like presentation. So we're saying for the cocktail essence of things, it's not just...
There are about 30 people plus working for Project Nourished right now. And these people range from 3D artists that are working on the hardware and the actual food that you'll be eating, as well as the chefs, food scientists, audio engineer, sensory perception researchers, and a whole slew of other professionals that you would never think to come together.
I am a designer and artist, and I'll be designing some of the 3D printed elements of Project Nourished. So the headset and the aromatic diffuser are very important because it brings the user into a world before they enter the virtual world. And we really wanted to break away from the traditional aesthetics you would see at a dinner table. Something that was a more abstract representation of how our taste is multifaceted.
My experience being a chef and creating food in general, it was pretty challenging because in using hydrocolloids, that was something we'd never worked with before. So to create the flavors without having the texture was a huge hurdle for us. The entire task is to make sure that they taste like what we imagine a piece of sushi, an apple tart, or steak tastes like.
I'm a concept artist at Project Nourished. So my role as a designer is to bring to the audience the visual aspect of this dining experience. For sushi, we decided to go with Kyoto. I had to create an environment where we're going to be experiencing peace, we want meditation. So we wanted to immerse the user in this therapeutic place.
I am a former food scientist for the Department of Defense, and I'm a certified research chef. When I'm asked to help figure out how do we get someone to believe that something else is occurring that may not actually in reality be occurring, one thing that we can play with are aromas, textures, and things that are more associated with something. As an example, if you were to smell cinnamon, you may not think of cinnamon, but you may think of apple pie.
I do the 3D modeling here at Project Nourished. Some of the considerations for creating that virtual dining environment is obviously the composition. Like, we want to make sure everything is placed in a certain manner, because when you put the headset on, you're basically going to be immersed in that environment. Once the 3D print comes out, we want to get the texture and the feel right. You know, when you eat a piece of rice sushi, it's just, you can really feel all the grains in there, but it's soft. So I try to really dig deep into that.
I do audio on Project Nourished. We chose bone conduction in order to strike a balance between form and function. When you're chewing food and your jaws are chomping down on all those textures, those vibrations are turning into sounds that are transmitted through your skull to your inner ear. Bone conduction enhances the experience because we are trying to reverse engineer how we hear sounds chewed in our mouth.
I am the mixologist here at Project Nourished, and I will be creating all the cocktails for this fabulous team, and I'm excited. So it's not just to come up with a cocktail just cause. Each ingredient represents what we're doing in virtual reality and in the dish. So everything ties in together. So if we do something of, say, Japanese, we're doing a sushi dish, well, then I'm gonna use Japanese ingredients to enhance and really just, magnify what we're doing. How the guest becomes intoxicated without alcohol, it really just comes down to just using really the finest quality of ingredients and just manipulating your mind into perception of that you're drinking alcohol.
In the future, I see this project being utilized in a multitude of ways. First is just simply letting people who cannot eat certain things, like myself, who has allergy towards gluten and soy. So I want to be able to allow eating for all ages and all types of people out there.